So basically, yeah, okay. So we have a rough idea of where we all stand, huh? Okay. Okay. Now, I'll be doing a fair amount of talking today. It's not my preferred style, but given the fact that we are coming from different entry points, I think there needs to be some kind of baseline understanding and common language establishment first, and therefore I have to do a little bit of structure and talking. Okay, then for subsequent meetings, when I see each of you in your various schools, so-called one-on-one, when we go down for individual school visits, it can be more personalized and immersion that way. Okay, yeah. Okay. I should also show you that I'm from the teaching service, so I'm not one of those people who just comes on and plonks down some kind of, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should give you an idea of the timeline. I put down here timeline and deliverables. Okay. Okay. Actually, there's elephant in the room, right? But I was debating whether or not to mention it, but I should just mention it because if I don't mention it, it'll just be in my subconscious. I'll mention it soon. Okay, timeline and deliverables. So here we are, and here we will be. Okay, so it's a 2-year project, and because there are 4 schools involved, I've deliberately and because you all are coming in from different entry points, and some of you have got a little bit more experience than others, and some of you have already got some resources that, by your graciousness, you are willing to share. So we can all, but the first thing I should say is that today we're all geographers. Like time is some sharing or
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it makes no sense for us to do it independently. Yeah. So so let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let's use colors again. We cannot talk about the timeline without talking about the models of implementation. Okay. So in terms of what I call the scope here. So I'm going to talk about the timeline, but we cannot talk about the timeline without talking about what I call the scope models. Okay. So in terms of scope, there are 3 ways of thinking about scope. We can think of it in terms of subjects. We can think in terms of yeah, okay. I'll put it just loosely. I'm using my language quite loosely here. In terms of classroom models, and we can also think of it in terms of formal and informal learning. Okay. So these are not meant to be. These are meant to be literally lenses. In other words, these are meant to be frames through which to understand the timeline. So they're not meant to be mutually exclusive or anything. They're literally lenses. They're frames for you to understand the timeline. So in terms of the subjects, actually I didn't. In terms of the subjects, there's okay. Should I put it as a separate subject? I think I should. Because we are in Quadran, and because primary school got no geography, right? So there's the social studies component. In the particular case right now, in the immediate future, in the foreseeable future, it's in terms of environmental education. And because it's in terms of environmental education, therefore the link is pretty obvious with job. And job is also linked because of the earlier trajectory, the earlier history in 20. So for the 2010-2011 intervention, it was enacted in several subjects, but the subject that I had the most oversight about was geography. So geography is here because of not only because of the historical trajectory of the project, but also because of the environmental education component. Okay? And then, honestly, because I've run to like so super ambitious, because I've got several other lenses to look at, the only other subject I'd like to explore, and I've spoken to a couple of principals about design and technology in secondary school, So for, specifically, I have spoken to Mr. Manan of Ang Mo Kio, and I've spoken to Mr. Lim, right, of Bedok Green. I haven't spoken to Mr. Mr. Yo. Yo Kwek Heng, Mr. Yo. Okay. Mr. Yo yet, because you all are so new, I want to like over frighten you all. Okay? So we will, for DNT, we'll probably do it in these two schools first. Okay, so yeah. Now, just by way of context, in 2010 and 2011, other subjects that were involved, for those of you who are like really new to the program, other subjects that were involved were chemistry and mother tongue, specifically I think Chinese. Okay, so there was chem and there was mother tongue. But this is not, it is not my intention to focus on those two subjects in the next 2 years, unless there's overwhelming, unless you feel it's so like that. Okay, I have my reasons for doing so, but we can. So in other words, today is just an aggregate meeting. I will have to go to both Ang Mo Kio and Bedok Green to speak to your respective principals more about the D&T part, because I need to meet with the D&T teachers. Okay? Yeah. Then in terms of classroom models, the default way I'm trying to look at okay, I mean the default way of thinking. Hello George. Welcome. Thank you, George. So the default way of thinking about it is rather the default way of thinking about generally speaking, the default way of thinking about technology-based intervention in schools is to use a computer lab. So the com lab is the default model, and then it's like the assumption that's made is one-on-one, meaning that it's like one student seated behind one computer, bad English, but it's one student seated behind one computer. Okay, so this is indeed how we did it in 2010 and 2011, seeing that there was no feasibility of doing it on a handheld space. But even in a handheld space, the default assumption is still one-on-one. In fact, it's even stronger on the one-on-one handheld than desktop environment. So one of the things that I would like to explore, and I'm sharing this with the teachers now, so that so you can try to. This is one of the things that I would like to think about. You can start thinking about this afternoon, although we don't have to like come out with anything definitive. Is what about traditional so-called traditional? Because to book a com lab is very mafan. So can Second Life and can virtual environments be used in a classroom where in more regular classrooms where there's only one teacher's desk and then there's only one projector? In other words, a 1:40 model. Can curricular models be designed leveraging virtual environments which can be used in these kinds of models, in these kinds of environments? And here again, this ties back to the translational research. Because if we can successfully explore these kinds of models, then break the assumption or question or investigate the assumption of one-on-one, then we can then that's another way that we can scale and do these things. So regarding the formal and informal thing, another way of looking at the timeline, is I've also spoken to the two principals of the two schools here, and actually, Kwachan Presley, I'm not sure whether we can actually have a conversation around this as well, about involving the club of the school, of the respective schools. So here what I'm saying, I'm trying to draw the contrast between formal subject areas and the classrooms here, the com lab or the classroom, and then the informal meaning like after school. So here my vision for the project is for those schools which are interested, because this was kind of triggered from my experience at Ang Mo Kio, where among the many students that tried out the intervention over 2 years, we had a few who So these are like the I won't use word key. I will just use word key. These are keen to learn more. So okay, so for those who are keen to learn more, and in a sense, the ID club is kind of like a self-selecting thing. So for those who are keen to learn more, then we can look at, we can actually turn, so in other words, the learning is not about the subject curriculum, it's not so much about the subject discipline, but about other general IT skills which may be transferable across and outside virtual environments. So for example, like I don't know, like for example, like 3D modeling and these kind of scripting and these kinds of things. Okay, so that's I'm something, but I'm getting a bit tired, but can't be tired because we just started, right? Okay, so learning in terms of the IT skills, but also, and with the longer term objective, and this is just vision, with the longer term objective of because one of the problems about scaling and translation is that again the traditional model which I like to question is that there's a huge reliance on vendors. Okay, so just as I am trying to question this assumption that a technology-based intervention has to be done in a computer lab, I'm also trying to question the assumption that a technology-based assumption has to be like very reliant on vendors. So if we can kind of like mediate this reliance, that will help to bring down the cost of things. And by bringing down the cost of things, it will help to gain traction and to scale. Okay? So this is one of the things this is the other aspect of the informal learning that I'm trying to build up with this, to investigate with this project. Meaning the extent to which we can have an in-house team of fairly of students in others from among the student body, you have some. I think you get the general point. You don't have to talk about it all now. I mean, this is just join the broad scope of things. Okay, okay. So having painted this huge ambitious canvas, let's now talk about time frame. The time frame is actually emergent and subject to discussion because, as I said, each of the schools come from different entry points and different experience and some. Okay, so I really do not. Okay, so now we are here in Jan, right? The money will come sometime in Jan. Okay, I'm looking at a statement, not a question. So the money will come sometime in Jan, and then but of course because I'm a pragmatic person, I know these things. So I've deliberately written the paper on paper at least. The actual fun stuff. Meaning the fun, the part where they actually get to, that's where the lessons begin now, right? Or the activities do not lessons. The activities begin can start in March, but that's not to say we have 2 months of lag time of lead time because there's a lot of enculturation to be done here, and today is the first example of what I mean by enculturation. Okay, by enculturation, I'm trying to build shared understandings.
Conference room. It's
shared language.
Look for the general office. They should be able to do that. Jiang is going to find you.
Yeah, and great.
Okay, bye.
So try to build shared understanding and shared language. And basically a common vision lah. Okay, sorry to talk like in terms of like a management guru. That's not really what I want to do, but okay, yeah, I get my general view. So this is what I mean by calculation. Then but by calculation also I'm talking about things like trade. So thank you for taking your time to come. I mean, I didn't mean that sarcastically. I'm saying thank you for taking the time to be here. Yeah? Okay. So, yeah. So, I started writing T, T for training, but training is not really what I mean, right? But for convenience sake, we just put it as training in terms of both, I really hate the word training. Training in terms of both teachers and students, but training in terms of what? Training, especially in terms of the teachers, training teachers not only in terms of the technical competencies, which is the part which most people conceptualize when they think about training, and that's why it kind of fails because it just focuses on the technical. But training with regards to the understanding of the pedagogical affordances of the platform. Okay, so this one is much more critical than the technical part. The students, of course, we don't have to go into this because we're not like okay, we are. But from our experience of 2010, 2011, the technical training of students is fairly straightforward. So this one is hugely critical to the success of the project. Okay, and this is all going to be done in January and February, so that we can slowly start to. I mean, of course, you want to start earlier than that, no problem. Okay, you want to start earlier than that, no problem, because actually to kind of jump the gun, Kuo-chuan has already kindly got some resources going on. Okay, so we can actually start in Feb or in late Jan, no? But I'm just saying that we do have some lead time for those of you who want to take things a bit slower. Okay? And then, once we get on to here, on this, the whole thing gets a bit fuzzy, but I'm perfectly fine with fuzziness, because it really depends on the kinds of conversations I have with the principals. As all of us here are geographers, the disciplinarians, we are all, so we will definitely be able to, I think we all can, maybe, okay, right now I need to spend a bit of time, but I can still do that in Jan Feb. So if you want to start in March or whatever with everybody else, we can. So my conception is that we'll probably start JOG first, okay, JOG and environmental education first in all 4 schools, and then we will see what kinds of conversations to come up with, and maybe in the second half, from June, July, August, so that we don't touch the exams. Maybe we do D&T, or maybe we also do concurrently some kind of IT class intervention, and basically that. So from here on, it gets all a bit fuzzy, okay? But we should stop by about September, August 2013, we will stop because then obviously for obvious reasons because of the exams. Okay, so by around here we should stop. And then so now so I'm perfectly fine with each school doing its own pace and its own scope. Okay?